Hi my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and for everybody who is new, I'm Leorah and I'm so glad you found me. Okay, hi sweeties, I just wanted to show you this one. Do you remember this one? Do you remember when this one was really small and we just saved it from starvation? Now this is this is back then it was still Goldie. Now we know that it is a male, so we called him Giovanni. So this is Giovanni. This is the same bunny that you saw, I don't know, maybe a month and a half ago, or maybe, I think maybe a month and a half ago. I made a video about this one. Maybe I'll link it. I hope I'll link it here. So anyway, I just wanted to sort of update you because I told you that I probably would, because I was not sure back then when I did that video if Giovanni would survive, and actually he did. So thank God, we were so happy because he was really on the edge, you know? So yeah, this is our saving Goldie. I think this is how I called the video back then. Anyway, so this is Giovanni now, and we are super happy to have him. And also Harry, do you remember Harry? I introduced her to you at the end of January, I believe, and we found out now later that she's actually a girl, so her name is now Holly, and at some point I will bring her back too. So she is also grown, of course, and yeah, so now we have two as you know. All right, so we are going to be here together, and I just wanted to use that video to do a bit of a life update, because my last life update was before Passover at some point, and it could even have been the one where I was sitting here with back then Goldie right after we saved him. So anyway, that is a long time ago now, and it's just time to talk a little bit about what has been happening. So of course we have had Passover in the meantime, and that was of course a bit of a challenge because we were supposed to have also my husband's parents with us, who are both 90 plus, and they are of course a big like you know, it's dangerous for them, especially these times are super dangerous for them, and we do have a lot of small kids who could potentially be carriers of all kinds of things. Now of course we have been trying to keep everybody away from dangerous situations or being contaminated or infected or whatever, but still you can never be 100% sure. So what we had to do was that we actually set up a different table for my in-laws away from our table. We served all the food separately to them. They never got food from our table, and we disinfected a little bathroom that we have at the same floor just for them to use. So basically nothing, there was nothing that we touched together, you know? So that was an experience. I never thought, like, it's insane to live like a family like this, you know? We had to tell our kids not to touch their grandparents, not when they come in, to like go and hug them, you know? And that is actually something I'm very like from the beginning I was very strict is maybe the wrong word, but like I really emphasized that's what we do. We go and we hug, you know? That's how I grew up, and and now to tell them no, you cannot do that, and the second they came like 2 meters towards them, it was like no, stop, you know? It's just a crazy life. It's just one picture of a crazy life, this, you know? But we had a nice Passover. We had a nice Seder night, which is the first night of Passover, if you don't know, which is like a big celebration, and it was really nice, especially. And that really probably only applies to you if you know the Bible a little bit, or the Torah. Then you know, of course, the story of the Exodus from Egypt, how the people of Israel left the slavery in Egypt. And it was just really amazing, this night of complete silence, because I believe it was the day of the Passover Seder night, basically the evening, when the complete lockdown in Israel went into place, when nobody really was supposed to leave their houses anymore. And if you know this part of the Bible a little bit, then you know that this is exactly what happened back then in the story. People were not supposed to leave their houses because they would die, you know, because the angel of death would go through the streets basically in Egypt, and that was the last of the 10 plagues, when the firstborns of the Egyptians died. So it was weird. It was absolutely weird. It was not scary. I mean, I'm sure back then they must have been super scared, probably. But for us, it was, I don't know, this correlation, I think is the right word, between the real story of what we were actually celebrating in that night, on that night, to what is happening right now was absolutely stunning, really, you know? We were after cleaning up after the Seder night, and it was already like almost 12 o'clock, and my husband and I were standing at our bedroom window and looking out, and looked like on the streets, and there was no traffic and no noise and nothing. And we actually live next to a very, very big city highway, so there is always noise, you know. There are 6 lanes, like 3 in each direction, and usually there's always noise, always cars like honking their horns, and always, you know, and it was a little bit like Yom Kippur, like the Day of Atonement, when it's a similar situation when there is like no traffic because nobody like really goes out. So at that, it was amazing. And I was thinking, you know, when I was a child, we sometimes watched that movie, The 10 Commandments, with Charlton Heston, if you remember, or you can maybe also like find it on YouTube, probably, I don't know. So anyway, and there they show how basically the angel of death sort of came down from the sky as like a kind of gas or something, or like the fog, or they had to make it work somehow to make it possible to see what's happening, right? So anyway, the special effects back then were, of course, not like today, but I still remember this. I haven't watched it for years, but I was remembering this, and of course my husband too, and we just said, you know what, when you just look at our city of Jerusalem, you can imagine how this all really has happened. You can just basically in your mind see how the same thing is happening like back then in the movie, you know. And yeah, it was just a weird situation. Even though we felt completely safe, we felt completely in peace and taken care of, and everything was good, but it was just amazing, you know. It meant a lot. I don't think it has ever meant so much to me, you know. So yeah, so we spent Pesach, which is Passover, at home, not going out, obviously. And I thought this holiday would never end, because even in normal years, I'm not a big fan of Pesach at all, and it's always hard for me, and I hate it, you know. So anyway, but it's also just because it's so much work for the mother in a family. It's insane, you know. So that's also, of course, a big part of why I don't like it. But this year I thought it would never end. But then when it was time to put all the Pesach dishes and everything away, I thought, wow, how did that happen? It was like, and Passover was over. I just couldn't believe it was so much mercy in this, that actually the time passed over really fast, you know. So yeah, and even my kids felt the same way, even though there was nothing really to do. There was really nothing to do. We're glad that we have the rabbits, so they keep the kids busy, of course. That was our Passover experience, and then after that we just started school again, you know. And that is really the part of the isolation that bugs me the most, really bugs me and stresses me the most. And I don't know if you are in a similar situation, that your children are learning through like remote learning. We're using the Zoom app, and it's a big challenge, especially, you know, we have 7 kids. We have 4 that are in the school system and 3 that are still in kindergarten, but all of them are doing remote learning, which means that basically, because all of them have learning hours like from 9 till, let's say, 1, more or less, and it makes it so hard, because we have 2 computers, and we have basically my husband's phone and my phone and my oldest son's phone. But I need my phone for when I'm here, when I'm doing research, when I'm, you know, I need at least my phone if I can already not have my computer, because my kids are learning there, you know. It makes life really hard, because they have lessons like on top of each other all the time, and we are supposed to also work from home. You know, my husband has to work from here, and also I have to work from here. So when do we get our work done? You know, it is really, really crazy. Plus these Zoom lessons, sweetie, they're setting a time, and then the link to the Zoom lesson doesn't work, and then like 10 minutes pass till the whole thing starts, and then they spend basically the first 10 minutes of the lesson itself just checking if everybody is here, because a lot of people come late and then they don't start, and it is so annoying, sweeties. And I don't believe that the kids are really learning that much. Sometimes also just the audio is so bad, and then the kids are talking on top of each other because everybody has their microphones on, and the teachers forget to like block the microphone so only the teacher or the host can be heard, and it is a big mess. And I do not believe that the kids are learning anything. Like my kids tell me, Mom, I have not learned anything. And you know, or they say I didn't understand anything, and if I wanted to ask a question, the teacher didn't hear us, you know. So this is a useless endeavor. I know that everybody's trying their best, and it's maybe better than doing nothing, because sort of you stimulate your brain a little bit, but still this is not, it's not a big help. It's more stress than it helps. At least that is my experience. Maybe if you have less children and you can be really, like, you can have a kid in one room and the other kid in the other room, and each one of them has a computer, and they have a environment that is quiet and they can concentrate, maybe then yes. But you know, we have 7 kids, so there is always noise. We don't have enough rooms to have you know, people in every room, and we also don't have enough computers. So it is what it is. I'm just stunned that we just keep going on like this. I don't know. We are really for canceling the summer vacation and just doing school then instead of now, and sort of considering this now the summer vacation, even though it's not. But I don't think the teachers union is up for that. Yeah, so anyway, that has been a huge cause of frustration for me and for my husband, and also for my children, and yeah, it's just really annoying. So just for that, I think this is for me personally, and this might sound really petty, but I'm glad that I don't have more problems than this, really. This has been the worst part of the isolation time. So in the next worse thing, I don't know how to say this, has been my emotional situation, because I actually started to sort of wither away the second the isolation started. It has been really hard for me. I also felt it, and I've already said it also, I think, in 1 or 2 videos, that I'm like eating all the wrong things, and it's just really horrible, and I just cannot sort of find myself, and I really felt how it's like chipping away from me, like all my strength is just falling off me and peeling off, and it's getting less every single day. And yes, I was, for about a week or 2, I was eating stuff that I have not been eating for the longest time. I started to eat sugar again, and it was horrible. You know, my body surged into this kind of situation just from frustration and from being locked in. You know, it's not like I have some like super huge problem. It's just that this feeling of being stuck and not being able to do anything and not knowing what's gonna come, it freaked me out, and this is what that was my escape, you know. So it was horrible, and I didn't know how to get out of it, because if you didn't eat sugar for years and years, and suddenly you do, your body surges into this kind of need that you never thought you had, you know, and then you just can't stop yourself. So there was of course weight gain, and there was a big huge amount of frustration about myself and about the world and about everything, and I didn't know how to get out of this, you know. So what did Leorah do? Leorah went back into therapy. So I'm actually very proud of myself that I went back into therapy, because I saw myself spiraling big time and really fast back into my eating disorder, and because all the old thoughts came back, and my old remedies that I used to do in order to, you know, not going back there. So I immediately called my therapist from back then, and I said, I'm so disappointed in myself. I just can't, I don't know what to do. You have to help me. So I left my house for that. That was the only thing I left my house for, and I went to therapy sessions with her, you know, so in order to get back on track. So this is now maybe 2.5 weeks that I'm back in therapy. It has helped me a little bit. I'm still struggling a lot because I have to go through sugar detox. Now I would say the first week after stopping to eat sugar was absolutely horrible. I was going through a withdrawal that was absolutely unbelievable. I was sitting here trying to film. The editing was horrible because I had so many empty spaces where I just didn't know what to say, couldn't figure out what I'm doing at all. Sometimes I lost sensitivity in my arms. I was shaking. It was like going off drugs, I imagine, never having taken drugs, but it was horrible, you know. So I've gone through this. Physically, I think I'm okay now. It's just mentally, I have to make a decision every single day to be okay. And that's a thing that is also really, really scary to know, that these old problems potentially can come back all the time. Anytime you are weak and you don't protect yourself, they can potentially just snap at you and like leech onto you, you know. So I think this is a good example for things in our lives where we just always have to be protected, and we have to pray, and we have to believe, and we have to just be strong also within ourselves to say, no, I'm not letting this happen. This is my decision, and I can make this decision. Yes, I am that strong. I can do it, you know. So it is a decision every single meal and every single minute between every meals. It is a decision, and I'm in the middle of the struggle again. But I'm very, very determined that I need to, like, I cannot lose everything that I've lost. You know what I mean? All the kilos that I've lost before, I cannot basically gain it back and lose everything that I've lost before. Does that make sense in English? I don't know, but I hope that you know what I mean. You know, I worked so hard for that weight loss a couple of years ago. I cannot, just because I have a moment of weakness or a time span of weakness, I cannot lose all of that again, in the sense of like letting go of it and gaining weight. Yeah, so that was also a big pressure point, but I'm really, really happy that I didn't wait and didn't try to fix it myself, but it immediately went on the phone and just said, you know, I need help. You know, so anyway, that is that. Besides that, we're doing okay. We all stayed healthy through the whole time. My husband did all the shopping and the grocery shopping, and that of course is also a new experience for us, because usually I do the shopping, and it was actually really, really funny sometimes, and sometimes maybe also a bit annoying, but usually mostly funny, the amounts of food that he bought, because it is just so funny how he sees the family and how I see the family, because I always buy huge amounts of everything because I know that my family eats a lot. Now when my husband comes home with 2 chicken breasts and tell me make dinner, I say like, okay, so that is enough for like half of the family, maybe if we're lucky. So what are the rest gonna eat, you know? So anyway, that is a really, really nice experience also for him, you know, because he has to learn, like when he complains that I'm buying too much, then he knows that I'm not really buying too much. It's just that we need to have stuff at home because we have a family of 9 people, you know. So yeah, so we're all learning, we're all growing. I'm learning to make do with what I have, which is sort of cool, frightening, but cool. And we are of course hoping, all of us, that this whole period of our lives is soon over and we can all go back to some kind of new reality. I know that it's probably not going to be the normalcy that we had before, but something that gives us a little bit more, that we can feel that we are actually alive. You know, it's hard to get dressed in the morning and to sit here and make the decision, I'm going to put on makeup, I'm going to be glamorous, I'm going to do this, even though nobody's going to see it. You know, it is a hard decision, but I think this place here has actually been keeping me together more than anything else, because I have a hair here which is really, really annoying. Sweetie, what are you doing? So anyway, this place here has been my only place where I actually felt like this is where I want to be. This is where I belong. This is where I feel safe. This is the place where I can still function normally as if nothing happened. So for me, this was a huge, huge blessing to have this place and to have you. And of course, also as a result of that, be in touch with you still, you know, so that was great. Plus, I had, of course, a 1-week break during Passover where I didn't upload anything, and that was also a very, very good thing, because I have mentioned this before, that was the first time that I actually took a break from YouTube, and I was really, really scared that people would leave and my channel would just shrivel and you know, but nothing like this happened. I actually gained people while I was offline, which was really, really nice surprise. And it was so nice, you know, that some of you checked up on me and said, you know, how are you doing? I hope everything is going well. And yeah, everything really went well. So are you falling asleep already, little bunny? He's really, really comfortable, huh? Are you? So overall, I just want to say there is so much hair floating around. This is not what I wanted to say. I want to say overall that I'm super grateful for this time, because we also have to just ask ourselves not only why is this happening, all of this, but also for what. That is actually a very Jewish way of approaching it, because we can always ask lama, which is why, and we can ask lema, which is for what. And we always have to find something for us that we're taking out of the situation and that we're learning from this. There is always, in every challenge in our lives, there is some kind of growth that we can take from this. And if everything falls into pieces, there is still something that we can learn from this for ourselves, maybe for our nation, for our belief, for our relationship with God, or for our relationship within the family. So I just want to encourage you, you don't need to share this with me, what you're learning from this, because sometimes these things are private. I also learned a lot of things, you know. I just want to encourage you to ask for what. Not only this general why that we are going to ask probably for a lot of things, but for what? What do I have to learn from all of this? Because God doesn't let something happen just by happenstance. There is no such thing. Everything is guided and everything happens for a purpose. Now, all the suffering and all the people that passed away, and it's very, very tragic, but still for us who are still alive, we can and we should learn something from this. Now, of course, I do have my personal conspiracy theories too about everything that has been going on and where it came from. But anyway, I have no proof for anything, so that's why I'm not going to say it. But still, I have learned a lot for me personally in this time, for the things, how I see them, how I stand in them, and the relationship between me and my husband being so close together all the time, which we were not used to anymore, and also with me and my kids, and the things that we've been speaking about around the family table and things like that. So I think there have been actually really, really good things happening for us within all this global mess, which has been overall, of course, not a good situation. So that was my life update. I hope you did enjoy. If you want to share something, then please feel free to do so. If you don't, then absolutely don't feel the pressure that you have to. But you know what? If you want to share something, you can also write it down and then send it to me for use and my stories. You will find, you know what, I'll leave the email address in the description box down below. If you want, then I can also do a story time on your experience that you had during the time of Corona. If you want to, feel free. Then besides that, of course, if you're new here, then please subscribe to my channel. If you like chatty content and makeup content and beauty and everything all around that, we're doing everything here. So just so you know, you're very welcome to join my tribe, and we love bunnies, we love beauty, and we love everything in between. All right, sweeties, so that is it. I'm going to see you here next week for my next video, and up until then, don't forget to sparkle. You've got it in you. Don't forget to do it, okay? So hugs and kisses, and I'll see you then. Bye, sweeties.